Welcome to the Brian Craig Show podcast. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome, one and all. And man, is President Trump ticked off for very good reason at Judge Jeanine. Judge Jeanine has dropped the charges against the Olympian who was accused of defacing, who she charged with defacing the reflecting pool. And, you know, this whole reflecting pool, it really just blows my mind that Judge Jeanine did this, and President Trump responded. I saw this story early this morning before the morning show, but I was waiting for President Trump to comment on it before I did, because I knew that he would be commenting on this, and he did. So we're going to cover this. But, you know, the thing about the reflecting pool, it tells you everything you need to know about the Democrats with their Trump derangement syndrome, their hatred of Trump, and anything good. I mean, you know, here you have President Trump, who's taking one of the most iconic memorials of the United States, right? The Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. He cleans it up, and what do the liberals do? They go and deface it. And the president even shared the video. They put 8647 in the bottom of it. They poured algae in there and even fertilizer. I mean, this is all true, and it really shows you how depraved, how just totally messed up the liberals are in this country. And God help us if they ever get back in power. But let me go through that. This is in the Gateway Pundit. And I mean, Judge Jeanine, I would imagine she is close to being on her way out. You know, when Pam Bondi wasn't doing anything, all of us were like, well, I wish that President Trump would make Judge Jeanine the Attorney General. And when she cracked and has caved like she's done so quickly on something so small, I guess we wouldn't be able to trust Judge Jeanine to take on the big guys as the Attorney General, right? But anyway, here's the article. President Trump today slammed Judge Jeanine Pirro for dropping the criminal case against former Olympian David Hearn. The Justice Department on Friday dismissed the Lincoln reflecting pool vandalism case against the former Olympian. He was arrested and charged with a misdemeanor for destruction of property for vandalizing the reflecting pool last month. He was indicted by a grand jury on felony charges as well. He was charged with felony destruction of government property and was facing 10 years in prison. That was the maximum, of course. The grand jury in the D.C. Superior Court returned the indictment. You know how hard it is to get a grand jury indictment in D.C. Like this when Trump's involved? During a press conference earlier this month, Jeanine Pirro said he violently and forcefully ripped up the sealant. However, on Friday, now this is what really, when I saw this morning, this really pissed me off. And I know this is what has got Trump really pissed off. Listen to this. On Friday, Judge Jeanine said the damage to the reflecting pool was the result of flawed installation by the contractor. That's Judge Jeanine is blaming the contractor, not all these people that we saw pouring fertilizer and algae and ripping the bottom off. It was not until after the return of the indictment that the Department of the Interior provided additional documents to the U.S. Attorney's Office in D.C. This is what Judge Jeanine said, indicating the damage to the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool in June was the result of flawed installation by the contractor and the rush to complete the project prior to the events associated with the America 250 celebration. This is what Judge Jeanine wrote in her statement. Can you believe this? We saw the video, and CNN even did a story where they tested the water and found the fertilizer in the water. President Trump said this: I disagree 100% with Jeanine Pirro, the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, on the reflecting pool. This is the president's post to Truth Social. I don't know what she was thinking, the president writes. To me, it was a pure case of vandalism. That included the grass, which had big 8647 emblazoned in giant letters on it, and other elements of the surrounding area. There may have been some contractor difficulty, but the major damage was caused by vandals, President DJT. He went on to say this: look for yourselves at the vandalism that took place at the reflecting pool. The material is being cut with a knife or a box cutter for all to see, Trump said. And he shared a video of it too. I mean, come on. And, this is in the aftermath, of course, of our traitorous Supreme Court Justice, Amy Coney Barrett, who testified that she's terrified of the left, right? And she came out with the liberals on the birthright citizenship. So what's going on here? What's going on here? I'll tell you what's going on. These people, they either scare them or they get to them. And the president posted this image from in the grass in the field next to the reflecting pool with the 8647 in it. I'm so disappointed in Judge Jeanine, but I'll tell you this. Now we know. Now we've smoked her out. She's compromised. And I had no doubt that, prior to this, I have no doubt in my mind that Judge Jeanine, before all this, was MAGA, right? I mean, I've seen her with the president many times, and it seemed legit to me. Did it seem legit to you? So what's happened? I don't know, but something's happened. Just like it happened with Amy Coney Barrett and others. They get to these people somehow and compromise them and get them to do things that just are not right. And, when something stinks is when someone does something out of character. She could have quietly just not pursued the case, even though they got an indictment from a D.C. federal grand jury. I mean, think about that. They got an indictment from a D.C. federal grand jury. And she could have just slow walked the case or not pursued it or dropped it. But she had to put in there that it wasn't vandal. See, this is the where when these people do something that is out of character, okay, that got to make you suspicious. So she throws in there that there was no vandalism, that it was a contractor error. Something stinks here. I think that she should resign or be fired by the president. Do you believe that the president should fire Judge Jeanine? I say that he fires her yesterday. She cannot be trusted. She cannot be trusted. The only thing I'm happy about with this is that President Trump did not appoint her to be the acting attorney general. And most of us that are MAGA assumed that she was kind of like going to be the second team because we knew that Pam Bondi wasn't doing her job. She wasn't working for the president. She was, Pam Bondi was working for the Bushes and others. We all knew that. But how many of you thought that she might have been the attorney general when President Trump got rid of Pam Bondi? Thankfully, he didn't, because if she caved with this over the reflecting pool, how would she take on Comey and Brennan and all these snakes? She wouldn't be able to. She can't stand up to some canoer. Give me a break. But I'd like to know a little more detail as to how this went down. Did Judge Jeanine go to the president before this? Did she let the president know that she was going to say that there was no vandalism? How could she say? We saw the videos of them pouring the algae and the fertilizer out of big drums and buckets into the reflecting pool. We saw this. There was surveillance video from the security cameras from the Park Service. When it comes to certain people, like Pam Bondi was a plant, all right? She betrayed Trump from the beginning. Judge Jeanine was with us. She was MAGA. Something has happened. Amy Coney Barrett was never MAGA, so, that's just, But Judge Jeanine was, right? I watched her on Fox and on the Five for a long, long time, and she was in fact, she got in trouble by Fox management more than once for supporting President Trump. So what could have happened that has her not only to do this, she's disagreeing openly with the president, and she was kind of like an FU, really. Well, there was no vandalism at the reflecting pool. It was the contractor's fault. Are you kidding me? How did the contractors put the 8647 on the lawn next to it on the grass? She needs to go because she's compromised. That's it. You cannot trust Judge Jeanine anymore. And she's going to pay a price for this. Because, it's like Scott Jennings on CNN, who said he had this 17-minute phone call with Mitch McConnell. The uniparty establishment get these people to go out and lie for them, and you and I don't forget about it. So she's never again going to have credibility. When she leaves this job, and believe me, President Trump's thinking about that right now. Been thinking about it all day. Probably may have already made a decision. Who knows? But she's going to maybe try to go back to Fox News or wind up on CNN or something. She'll have no credibility with us anymore, will she? And she'll be on those shows talking tough. But she did this. She did not have to put, even if she got an indictment from a federal grand jury against this guy. So they had evidence. It's almost impossible to get an indictment from a D.C. grand jury for anything that's against Trump. And they did. So they had evidence that he did it. This isn't just her making accusations of the president. They had an indictment from a D.C. federal grand jury. She's compromised. Her and Amy Coney Barrett can hang out together. Friday nights, they can go and have wine at the bar with Pam Bondi and Kamala. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. If you're new to the program, make sure you subscribe and follow on whatever platform you're listening on. And if you're watching on YouTube, please do me the favor of liking the video, because when you like the video on YouTube, you get the video recommended to people that have not yet found my channel. So I appreciate you guys doing that in advance. But we have a lot of other traders out there, and I want Jennifer Griffin over on Fox. Jennifer Griffin pulled a stunt on Fox News that I believe is treason. I'm going to play it for you, and you can let me know what you think. But, we are in a very hot war with Iran right now. And Iran has been doing everything they could do to drag this out. Well, Jennifer Griffin, I believe, has given aid, comfort, and hope to our enemies in Iran. Listen to this report.
Well, the Pentagon is confronting a growing reality after months of fighting in Iran. America's stockpile of missile defense interceptors is shrinking so much that military planners are weighing whether they can continue the current cycle of limited retaliatory strikes. The Center for Strategic and International Studies, using open source budget numbers, estimates U.S. Patriot interceptor inventories have fallen from roughly 2,300 pre-war to fewer than 827, while THAAD interceptors have dropped from 452 to fewer than 278. CSIS warns rebuilding those stockpiles could take 3 years or more.
Okay, now what the hell? Why did Jennifer Griffin over at Fox News give this has got to be classified top secret information? Would you agree that this is classified top secret information if the numbers are true, right? And she's got a lot of contacts at the Pentagon. So I have no doubt that this is accurate information. At least she thinks it is. Okay? Is this treason? Is this giving aid, comfort, and hope to the enemy? So she's saying we're down to around 800 patriots. We had over 2,300 in February, right? So if they stick it out and give the Americans some targets, they're going to run out of patriots. Why would she go on national television and give information like that out, even if it's not true? I got to, poor President Trump, right? Poor President Trump. Now, I don't know that these numbers are true or not. None of us do, right? This is the information Jennifer Griffin had, and she went on the air with it. But I'll tell you this, Iran saw this story. They're looking at it, and they're like, oh, yeah, we don't have to give up. We don't have to surrender. They're almost out of missiles, rockets. I don't know how President Trump does it. I mean, just today, he's betrayed by Fox News Channel and Jennifer Griffin with this story. Yesterday, he's betrayed by a close confidant, Judge Jeanine, with this reflecting pool case. It's bad enough that he has the Rhino Democrat uniparty behind him stopping the SAVE Act and all these things all the time. But he's got Fox News after him now. Judge Jeanine, who was with Fox News. You think it's a coincidence that Judge Jeanine, formerly of Fox News, and Fox News, within a 24-hour period, both have this big betrayal of President Trump? Now, if this information is true, whoever gave this to Jennifer Griffin needs to go to jail. This story that she ran could get Americans killed. The Iranians, whoever's in charge now, they're probably having some difficult times keeping everybody in line because they're getting the crap bombed out of them. And they want to leave. They may have desertions and things going on. Who knows? It's got to be tough. But now they can just play this Fox News story with Jennifer Griffin and say, don't worry, the Americans are almost out of ammo. Look, Fox News. Fox News is a Republican news outlet, and they're saying that Trump's almost out of ammo. Just stick in there. Don't desert. Don't go back home. We got the Americans on the ropes. They're almost out of ammo. When they run out of the rockets, they're going to have to invade. Then we'll have a guerrilla war. Don't worry, we got this. My goodness. Fox News seems to forget why they're number one in cable news. Because of us, right? When I see a story like this on CNN or MS Now, you expect it. But Fox, and the reason that this was leaked to Fox and not CNN or MS Now, I believe, whoever leaked this wants the Iranians to not give up and wants the Iranians to have this information. They gave it to Fox. If Fox reported it, it's more credible because Fox is viewed, even though they're not, Fox is viewed as friendly to President Trump. I'm sure they're looking for this leaker, and I hope they find it. And you know what? I think they should do to Judge Jeanine what was done to Mike Lindell. And what I mean by that is go seize her phone. Go seize Jennifer Griffin's phone and her computers and all of her devices and find out who's calling and texting her and FaceTiming her. So we can find out who gave her this classified information that could prolong the war and get Americans killed if the Iranians won't give up. My goodness. I know it's terrible. I mean, this is what President Trump's got to deal with, right? It's not good. It's not good. And even if the story's not true, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. There's no way for us to know. But even if it's not true, it still has the same negative effect for us because it gives hope to the Iranians and something to keep them from giving up, right? There was a time when the media, if they had classified information, I give an example, like the Normandy invasion. President Roosevelt told the Washington White House press corps all about it right before it happened. They didn't go and report it because they were Americans and they were decent people. Jennifer Griffin has betrayed our country with that story. Do you think Pete Hegseth would agree with that? Absolutely, he would. Now, if you'd like to call in, the number's toll free. It's pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. Just toll free call no matter where you're watching. Now, Mamdani has been running around. He loves to say he's a New Yorker. This is a video of him that just surfaced from 7 years ago, so not that long ago. And you hear a little bit of his real accent in this. He was still working with a dialect coach to lose that, I guess, Ugandan accent and sound American. But you hear a little bit in this clip of his real accent. And he's talking about colonizers and such. But he says something here about being a New Yorker. Listen.
There is still, this illusion, and it's partially a result of settler colonialism, that all of us can become...
Okay, now I'm not going to stop the whole thing. I'm going to play the whole thing. These liberals use these words, phrases, and terms that we Americans don't use. Settler colonialism? This is not we are not settlers or colonialists in the country, okay? Maybe 280 years ago, 300 years ago, the Europeans were colonizing. But no, we're a little bit beyond that now.
There is still, this illusion, and it's partially a result of settler colonialism, that all of us can become New Yorkers, that all of us can settle into the city. And yet there would be these moments where I would be reminded by someone whose intent was to tell me that you do not belong. And one of those first moments was on 9/11, when, before I knew what had happened, my teacher had pulled me and a Muslim classmate of mine out of the class.
Okay, now he was about 8 or 9 on 9/11.
And told us that something has happened and you may be bullied. And I want you to tell me if that happens.
I'm calling total BS on that, by the way. If you remember, he was 8 or 9 years old, and you guys remember what 9/11 was like. It was a scary day, wasn't it? And what was going on in the schools was crazy. Right? Evacuations, parents going around, everything else. And the idea that in New York City, which is where he went to school, he went to a fancy private school that was like $60,000 a year at the time. So the idea that in New York City, 9/11 is happening, right? And a teacher took the time to take him and this other, what did he say, Muslim student, is that the same as Muslim in an American accent? Took him at the age of 8 or 9 with another Muslim student and said, hey, you might be harassed today. I'm calling total BS on that. I don't care how liberal they are at this fancy pants private school he went to. It was a chaotic day, not some time for some liberalese discussion like that in the hallway. I don't believe it. First off, the hallway wouldn't be empty. It'd be packed with parents running there to get their kids, and it was a scary day because we didn't know if there were going to be bombs going off in buildings all over the city, including schools. A lot of people were afraid bombs were going to go off in schools on 9/11, remember?
Teacher had pulled me and a Muslim classmate of mine out of the class and told us that something has happened and you may be bullied.
Oh my, you may be bullied. Are you kidding me?
And I want you to tell me if that happens. And frankly, I was lucky because most Muslim students in the city were not given that kind of care from their teachers. And yet in that moment, I realized that I was not simply another classmate in a middle school. I was distinct.
Oh, yes. Oh, he's distinct. He's special. You're special, Zohan. Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. What a narcissist.
And there was a marker of that distinction on me. And it was something that I would be reminded of again and again. Something when we came back from a trip abroad, being pulled aside at JFK by immigration agents in a double-mirrored room, sitting me down on my own while my family was outside. and asking me if I had just attended a terrorist training camp and if I had intentions of attacking this country, and if so, what were those plans? And
I'm calling BS on that too, by the way.
it's something that has continued in the time since, where a few months ago I went with a client of mine to a bankruptcy court, and as we're going into the court, the security guard takes me aside and pats me down with additional care and asks me multiple times if I have any weapons of mass destruction on me. And in these moments, the sense of not knowing where home is, they're amplified by what I would see around me.
Oh, my goodness. I flew after 9/11. I remember I flew to Boston and New York, and I remember I got to the curb of the airport in Boston. It took me 2.5 hours from the time I got the curb to get to my gate. And I got stopped, and they emptied out my suitcase and my bags, and were asking me all kinds of questions. And they're like, sorry to, bother you. So, and I said, you're not bothering me. Go ask me anything. I hope you do this with everybody. He's like, yeah, we're just trying to make the flying safe. That's right, about a short time after 9/11. But Mamdani, well, I knew I'm someone special, and I'm being bullied. That's your mayor right there. That's your mayor. You're on the air. Hold on one second. And the phones are ringing. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? No, Ivy, I told you the other day, you got to get a good phone with a good connection, because your phone connections suck, but we'll try.
Bluetooth. I got to buy me a new Bluetooth. How's that?
How about not use the Bluetooth when you call me?
Yeah, it's a new one.
Okay.
I got rid of the old.
All right, so what's on your mind? I got a lot to cover here.
All right, bottom line is this. I'm tired. I'm so sick and tired of Mandam.
Oh, see, his phone went dead. You got to get a new phone. His phone just went dead. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is John from Wisconsin, Brian.
Hey, John, what's up?
Hey, did he say that the teacher pulled him out on the day of 9/11 when it was happening?
Yes.
We didn't even know who hit it. Who did it?
It wasn't.
We didn't know it was a Muslim attack.
Not long after they said Bin Laden and Al Qaeda. That was said pretty quick.
The same day?
Yes.
But
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't think that would have happened. As I remember, everybody remembers where they were going. I was going to work. It was it was about 7, 8 o'clock here, and I remember we didn't even go to work. We watched. I was self-employed then. We ended up watching it on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like the first one we thought was an accident. So, the plane hit the Trade Center, and then when the second one hit, then we knew it was terrorism. But
no, it was announced right away that it was it was announced almost instantly that it was Al Qaeda and Bin Laden. I remember. I was on the air, so I remember it pretty clearly, and it came out right away. Yeah.
Huh.
But even so, it was so chaotic. He was 8 or 9. So the teacher, during the chaos of 9/11 in New York City, took the time and went out in a quiet hallway with him and another Muslim kid and said, "You might be bullied today." Give me a break.
Very true.
I don't buy any of that.
Yeah. I've been listening to you since 2020 when I turned off Fox.
Oh, thank you.
And you've got a great show.
Well, thank you so much.
I haven't watched Fox News since.
Yeah, they suck. All right. They do.
They're garbage.
They're garbage, yes.
Yep.
Yeah, Fox News, we're garbage. That should be their tagline. All right, take care. All right, appreciate the call. That's a good. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Oh, hey, Mike.
You got to understand about the Fox situation is that Rupert Murdoch is no longer running the thing. It's his more liberal son-in-law, son Lachlan. And so when the order goes down to do this stuff, it's coming down from the top. It's not. She's not doing this on her own. This woman is not doing this on her own. Now, the other thing about the source she cited, we basically, when a media personality says, "I have a source," that's a lie. They have nothing.
That's right. Yeah.
So if she's saying she has a source,
well, she may have had someone leak it to her. I mean, it's pretty specific numbers and specific things. Yeah, I think Jennifer Griffin. I think someone told that to Jennifer Griffin.
Right, and that's the thing. And like I said, the sons and daughters of Rupert Murdoch absolutely despise Trump. They don't like him.
That's right. Well, hey, Mike, I appreciate the call. Okay, I got to take a quick break. All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll free and it's listed in the live chat. All right, I'm Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. We'll take a quick break and be back with more. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, Brian, this is Joan from Tampa Bay. I just got to say, Jupiter Joe Thomas, I called him. I almost fell off my chair. A 5-year annuity. I get a hefty monthly allowance, and I don't even touch my principal.
I thank you, Joan in Tampa Bay, for taking my advice. And those of you out there that have not yet done it, take advantage of the no-charge consultation that Jupiter Joe Thomas offers. I'm going to give you the number. It's 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And online, jupiterjoe.com. And Joan in Tampa Bay, I think you might be the new Jupiter Joe Thomas commercial.
Well, it's a win-win situation. You never lose your principal.
Exactly. Yeah, guys. Again, the number for Joe Thomas, 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And online, jupiterjoe.com.
Our world is filled with confusion, deception, and uncertainty. Where can you turn for the truth? Bible Prophecy and Truth is a Christ-centered ministry dedicated to proclaiming the gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ and shining the light of God's Word into a world darkened by deception. Discover powerful videos that explain what the Bible says about salvation and what you must do to be saved. Explore fascinating teachings on Bible prophecy, the rapture. There's also an in-depth creation versus evolution study that will strengthen your faith and deepen your understanding of Scripture. And that's just the beginning. Whether you're a lifelong believer, a new Christian, or simply searching for answers, Bible Prophecy and Truth offers biblical teaching rooted in God's truth. Visit videos.prophecyandtruth.com. That's videos.prophecyandtruth.com and discover the truth, strengthen your faith, and grow closer to Jesus Christ. Videos.prophecyandtruth.com.
By the way, Bible Prophecy and Truth, there's a link in the description on whatever platform you're listening in. Now, I don't know if you guys could hear, but it has been thundering, lightning, and raining like nobody's business at my house here in sunny South Florida. That's not so sunny right now because it's hurricane season. It's rainy season. We're in the tropics. If you have a wet spot on your ceiling, you've got a leak in your roof, and you want to call Tom Laporta at Laporta Roofing. He's a good MAGA guy who will never sell you a roof you do not need. He covers both the east and west coast of Florida, from the Atlantic coast all the way over to the coast of the Gulf of America and everywhere in between. So if you're in Florida, Tom Laporta can help you. He works with every type of roofing material and with on every type of structure, residential, commercial, municipal. He can handle the job of any size, whether it's one office building, one government building, a single-family home, or an HOA with 500 or more units in it. No job is too small or too large for Tom Laporta. He's also a contractor, which under Florida law allows Tom Laporta to deal directly with your insurance company on the cost of the replacement or repair of your roof. Give him a call or text, because this number rings directly to Tom Laporta's cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602, 954-604-4602, and online, LaportaRoofing.com. Okay, welcome back, everyone. Calls on hold, hang in there. The Democrat Socialists are having some big meeting in Chicago. I caught this on X. This is a clip of what's this guy, Smirkanish, and he's talking to a Democrat state rep, and well, let me just play, then we'll talk about it.
With regard to abolishing the Senate, that's not new. But the reason we have a direct election of U.S. senators is because of socialists.
Okay, now I'm going to play the rest of this. This is what I remember. I've been telling you guys that what communists do, and remember, the Democrat Socialists of America are communist, right? What communists do whenever they make a move to take over a country, Cuba, Russia, Korea, Vietnam, wherever, the United States, what they do is they change the history. They just make it up and rewrite the history to make you think that the place they're launching their communist revolution was always communist, founded on communist ideology.
With regard to abolishing the Senate, that's not new. But the reason we have a direct election of U.S. senators is because of socialists. That was moderates' option to keep abolition off the table. We did not rewrite the Constitution. We amended the Constitution to allow our U.S. senators to be elected by the people and not through state legislatures. I like to think that's a good thing. That is pro-democracy. That happened because
Okay, now this guy is just making crap up. Now, the way it used to be, it used to be that the senators were chosen by the state legislators, right? The U.S. senators used to be chosen by the state legislators, okay? And he says they changed that to stop the anti-abolitionist or whatever. I don't know what he was saying there. None of that's true. And it was done by a constitutional amendment, the 17th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which was around 1913. I might be off by a year or two, but the 17th Amendment, which was around 1913, decades after the abolition of slavery, changed it so that United States senators were elected statewide by the people of the state. And it has nothing to do with the abolition of slavery or anything else. They just make crap up to try to, and what they're always trying to do, these communists, okay? What they're always trying to do when they're taking over is convince the people of that country that communism has always been a part of your country, that your government was founded on communist principles. You just didn't know it, and we're letting you know now. They're making crap up. These are really dangerous people. They really, truly are. And I know, you know, some people are kind of happy because they're destroying the Democrat Party. It's good to destroy the Democrat Party, but to replace it with a communist party that has a bunch of useful idiots in the media giving them free rides on interviews, that's not good. All right? And not only is it not good, it's dangerous. Here's PBS, Public Broadcasting, interviewing one of the Democrat socialists. This is the one from... This is the Democrat socialist from Colorado.
First, are you a communist?
No.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're not. Okay. Oh, I thought you guys were just a front group for the communists. Oh, okay. You say, oh, you're not a communist? I'm sorry.
First, are you a communist?
No, I'm not a communist.
How do you tackle the criticism that some members of the DSA, including half of the DSA leadership, seem to call themselves communist?
Yeah, well, you know, some members of the Democratic Party are proudly proclaiming themselves as capitalists, and
oh my goodness, no! In America, in the United, see, this is she's from Ethiopia. When you have people from the third world coming to not just the first world, but the best of the first world, the greatest country ever, the United States, people in America, we don't declare ourselves capitalist. We are. To be an American is to be a capitalist, okay?
First, are you a communist?
No, I'm not a communist.
How do you tackle the criticism that some members of the DSA, including half of the DSA leadership, seem to call themselves communist?
Yeah, well, you know, some members of the Democratic Party are proudly proclaiming themselves as capitalists, and it's a big tent, right? But again, at the end of the day, it's up to the voters, right? Until a self-proclaimed communist actually wins an election, then it's just noise from the Republican Party.
No, it's not. They're lying. They're not. They know that they can't even get many people to accept socialism. They know communism would be the complete defeat of them, so they're lying. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Mike Glasby from Philly.
Hey, Philly. What's up?
Hey, I just wanted to say thank you for all your good work.
Well, thank you.
I enjoy your network. I listen to you every day, and please keep up the good work.
Well, thank you so much. All right.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too, Philadelphia. Take care. Thanks for calling. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian, this is Sean from Massachusetts.
Hey, Sean. What's up?
Well, the accent of these socialist Muslim, radicals is believe the lie until you believe it's true.
Yeah.
And that's all they're trying to do. They're in their heads. They know this isn't the right way. It was never part of our country. It was never part of our Constitution. It's just, again, like you said, they're trying to import these ideas, and these young people that are taking it up, trying to convince them, this is part of the whole plan, is to get all these people here that know anything about history, how economics works, how anything works, how our structure, our system folds together. And what they're trying to do is just say, okay, we're throwing this. That's why they want to take down statues. That's why they want to erase every facet of what made our country, good or bad. This is how they're playing this. I mean,
well, when this Democrat socialist, that's the Ethiopian girl that's running for Congress in Colorado, when she says, well, some are declaring themselves capitalist. Americans don't declare ourselves capitalist. We just are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean that's ridiculous.
They always use this Big Tent axiom I keep hearing about.
Yeah, that's their talking point.
Big Tent thing. I'm really tired of hearing the Big Tent. Oh, the Democrat Party's a Big Tent.
Yeah.
It's not a big tent. There's no tent. The tent has been blown away a long time ago.
Here's the thing. There are issues that we obviously have disagreements about with the different political parties, but there are certain things that make you an American, right? And one of those things is you're a capitalist who supports capitalism. If you don't, you're not an American. That's it.
Right. I mean, go ahead.
No, I said that's it. If you're, I mean, there's other things too, but if you're not a capitalist supporting capitalism, you're not an American. That's our system.
Right. Well, it was based our foundations. It's how this country became great. It's become the greatest country to ever exist. What we took from the old world, from what Greeks and everything that happened with democracy, we took that to another level, to a formation of something that's never been. So something that no country could ever aspire higher than that what we've achieved. Because that's why everybody wants to come here. This is why, all of the dreaded America, the evil America, that everybody wants to come to. And that's the other thing, is they look so foolish saying these things about how we're such racists and, this, that, and the other. Even calling their, moderate Democrats that now. I mean, how just such the John Kennedy treatment if he would ever be around.
Exactly.
Exactly what they would say to him.
Exactly.
Right. He set them up. And this is what they would do. And then it's absolutely insane for anybody to believe that. I can't even believe, I like you said, I'm happy that the Democrats, we don't want the Democrats to succeed, but at the same time, with this chaos that's going on, what these radicals are doing, I mean, really, do we want to see, right, after seeing this now, do we want this for them to have a chance to rise to power?
Yeah. And now, I'm really concerned, with, what I started the show today with was Judge Jeanine's betrayal. She not only dropped charges against that Olympic swimmer who was indicted by a federal grand jury for committing vandalism in the reflecting pool. She, in the statement, in the Justice Department statement and legal papers, she said there was no vandalism. It was just the contractors messed up. I mean, I don't know what they did to get to Judge Jeanine, but they got to her. She must have
got visited or something, because
I don't know
that to happen. And it's not in her character to do something like that.
No,
we
not.
know her track record, and her track record has been pretty great overall.
Mm-hmm.
I would hope this is something, maybe this could be just a bump, and this will be it. I don't want to see this as a trend. I know Trump isn't very happy about this. But I just don't, we can't, I don't know if we just drop her, but maybe if this continues, the pattern continues, and we've seen this before with some judges, and we've seen this before, Supreme Court judges, and we've seen this before in attorney generals and everything. So hopefully we're not going to see an ongoing trend, because I like Judge Jeanine, and I think...
Well, I did, but she's compromised now. She can't be trusted. Can't trust Judge Jeanine. She needs to go. She needs to resign. She needs to resign.
At happens.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Listen, I got to run, but I appreciate the call. All right.
Thank you, Brian.
All right. Take care. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, please do. If you're listening live and watching on YouTube live, you can call. The number's pinned in the live chat. It's toll free. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. I'll take a quick break and be right back.
Life can leave us with a lot of questions. Why did this happen to me? Why do I keep repeating the same patterns? And where is God in all of it? If you've ever asked those questions, you need to tune into the Healing Philosophers podcast with The Healing Philosopher on Spotify. Through honest conversations and real-life experiences, each episode explores topics like healing from past hurts, generational karma, letting go of what's holding you back, understanding narcissism, and discovering how God can use even life's hardest moments for a greater purpose. The Healing Philosophers podcast is about finding hope, growing in your faith, and realizing that your story in every season of your life has meaning. Add the Healing Philosophers podcast to your Spotify playlist, and make sure to share the podcast on all your social media and invite your friends and family to listen in too. Your share could be exactly what someone else needs right now. The Healing Philosophers podcast with the Healing Philosopher on Spotify. Healing starts with one conversation. Listen now on Spotify. Are you looking for a simple way to bring more wellness into your everyday life? You can do just that with Veda Life, your trusted source for premium wellness products inspired by natural living and timeless traditions. From beautifully crafted copper water bottles, copper mugs, to eco-friendly cork yoga mats and wellness accessories, every product is thoughtfully selected to support a healthier lifestyle. Complete your self-care routine with Veda Life's Elegance Bronze Tools, designed to help you relax, refresh, and rejuvenate. Whether you're building a wellness routine or searching for that perfect gift, Veda Life offers quality products you'll enjoy for years to come. They ship worldwide too, making it easy to experience premium wellness wherever you are. Follow Veda Life on Facebook and Instagram at Veda Life CA. That's VEDA. And visit them online at vedalife.ca to explore the complete collection. That's vedalife.ca, where wellness meets quality. vedalife.ca. If you're a business owner, founder, or marketer, you already know that great content matters. The problem is finding the time to write it or the budget to keep hiring writers. That's where maywrites.co comes in. Think of maywrites.co as your on-demand writing employee. Need blog posts? No problem. Newsletters? They do that too. LinkedIn content? No worries. Website copy? Even an ebook? Just send your request. There's no pre-word charges, no per-project invoices, and no surprise cost. With maywrites.co, you get unlimited writing requests for one simple monthly rate. It's like having a professional writer on your team. You'll get fast turnaround, consistent quality, and the freedom to stop worrying about who will write your next piece of content. Best of all, you can try it free for 7 days. If it's not the right fit, you can cancel anytime. Stop chasing writers, stop paying by the project, and start creating more content with less stress. Visit maywrites.co right now. That's maywrites, maywrites.co, your on-demand writing employee.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm going to play a clip here in a moment from one of the leaders of the Democrat Socialist Communist of America. And he's telling us what they're all about, which sounds like an overthrow of the United States government to me, which is criminal, and you can be arrested. But, I noticed... people are I just mentioned this for a minute, and you're welcome to call me about this. People are always griping about data centers. Now, I understand the negatives. They use a lot of electricity, and they hum, and nobody wants one next to their house. I get that, and they use a lot of water too. So, but there's ways around that. They can have their own power. There's things around that. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, okay? Correct me if I'm wrong about these data centers. I think people are against data centers, and I don't really think they've thought it through. Like, I just see some people in my live chat. Someone's talking about data centers. How can you be against the data centers and use the internet? The data centers are like the plumbing or the electrical grid of the internet, right? So more and more people are using the internet. you need more data centers. Like, example I use is my house. My wife and I have lived in this house for over 20 years. The house was built in like 1979. Okay, and it's a nice house. I lived here a long time. Nice house, but it was built in 1979. The internet had not been invented yet, right? And in 1979, you might have had 2 TVs in the house, maybe, right? And a hi-fi stereo in the living room. That's about it. Now, we have so many electronic devices. The house really doesn't have enough outlets for all the electronic supply. We have to unplug things every time I do something. And a couple years back, we had to have all new electric put in the house just to keep up with everything, right? So the house had to be updated because of all the internet and technology we have, all these Alexas and my computers and everything. Even my phone that I take calls with on the program here is an internet phone. So, that has to be plugged into the wall. And you guys, you probably have this issue as well if your house was built before a certain time. The data center, you need, now that the internet is growing and growing and growing, and now with AI and it's pulling more off the system, they got to have the data centers. So, hey, I don't want one next to my house, but they can put it next to yours. No, they can find a place to put it and power it and have the water. I know all the negatives of the data centers, but they are a necessary thing if you want to have internet access, all right? I mean, that's it. All these people griping, give me a break. But you're welcome to call and tell me where I'm wrong about this, but don't we need the data centers? I'm welcome. I'm very open to hear the other side to this. How would the internet operate as it's growing in abilities without them? Can somebody explain this to me? Because I think we need him. All right, so this guy, he's another Muslim. A lot of Muslims in the Democrat Socialist Communist of America. This guy is the co-chair, and he was on C-SPAN. Listen.
The abolish the Senate comment getting a lot of attention on social media for folks who are watching. And
now, abolishing the Senate is part of their new platform, right? So the guy from C-SPAN asks him about it. I'll play his response. If you're advocating to abolish the Senate and the presidency of the United States, is that not an overthrow of the U.S. government? And if you're overthrowing the government, are you not an insurrectionist? Are you not advocating for criminal, treasonous activities? The overthrow of the U.S. government?
The abolish the Senate comment getting a lot of attention on social media for folks who are watching and tweeting along and posting. What other constitutional changes would you advocate for?
That's a good question. So we think that the Supreme Court was mentioned as something that we would want more democratic oversight over, and that is important. Right now, whether it's the Democratic Party in power or Republican Party in power, a president can just choose who to appoint.
Okay, now this is a thing. Now, and I'll play the whole thing. I'll rewind and start over again. But they want to have oversight over the judges. That's what Hitler did with all the Nazi judges, right? And those judges didn't rule based on the law. They ruled on what the leadership told them they would do, or they'd get their heads cut off or sent to the concentration camp. It's independent judiciary. You want the judges to be independent, okay? That's how you have a fair justice system.
The abolish the Senate comment getting a lot of attention on social media for folks who are watching and tweeting along and posting. What other constitutional changes would you advocate for?
That's a good question. So we think that the Supreme Court was mentioned as something that we would want more democratic oversight over, and that is important. Right now, whether it's the Democratic Party in power or Republican Party in power, a president can just choose who to appoint that can be there for decades.
That's right.
And help make decisions about how our government works. We think that that's not really very democratic, that just the whims of 9 people who are, they're obviously smart people, but they have their own interests. And there's a kind of elitism that comes from just the idea that very specially people who have a certain education or life experience should be making decisions for everybody, and that tends to be pretty elitist. You know, people who go to certain elite colleges or law schools or whatever, and then are seen as experts, but they might not have the same interests, you know, like class interests of everybody. So yeah, the Supreme Court is something that we think is not democratic. We think there should be, it should be more democratic.
Where did you go to school? Do you have a law degree?
I don't have a law degree. I went to college, but I was in public school for most of my life. And, you know, I don't want to make it just about education. Everybody should have access to a good education.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, so he wants to abolish the Senate, abolish the presidency, and have some oversight committee that oversees judges. That is a complete overthrow of the government of the United States, creating a new system of government. What this guy's talking about is a revolution, is what he's talking about. Make no mistake about it. It's a revolution, and that's criminal. Right? You can't advocate for the overthrow of the American system of government. Right? And now Kamala, who moved into this white neighborhood, she moved into this neighborhood with her husband, and they say it's a 94% white neighborhood, and there's not a lot of people living in the neighborhood. What is it 94% because they count her, right? Like if Kamala didn't live there, would it be like 100% white? But anyway, here's Willie Brown's girlfriend talking.
We need to revisit the Electoral College. We need to revisit the point of expanding the court to 13 justices like we have 13 district courts.
Okay, well, let's expand it today so Trump can get 4 more appointments. How about that?
We need to revisit, if they so want, statehood for Puerto Rico and D.C.
So they get 2 senators. That means they figure they get 4 new senators.
Yes. If we regain control of the Senate, I served on this committee, the Senate Judiciary Committee, when I was in the Senate. Only the second black woman elected to the United States Senate after Carol Moseley Braun. And the Senate Judiciary Committee has the power to create rules for its committee that don't have to go to the whole Senate for a vote.
Okay, so let's find another way around democracy. Okay, is this what democracy looks like, liberals? Okay, now this thing about... She looks sober here. She looks sober. Wow. You know, this thing about the Electoral College, okay, I just tell you this quickly. If you read Jefferson Davis, the Democrat president of the Confederate States of America, after the Democrat insurrection that's known as the Civil War, it's the Democrat insurrection against the federal government, but they call it the Civil War so you don't think about what it really was. Jefferson Davis, the Democrat president of the Confederacy, right? He wrote a book about the history of the Confederacy. The first 5 chapters, I've read you can get the book for free on Kindle and Apple Books. Like the first half of the book is all about the unfairness of the Electoral College because Lincoln won. They didn't have him on the ballot in the southern states, but he still won, Lincoln, because of the Electoral College. The Democrats have been trying to get rid of the Electoral College since 1860. So what does that tell you about the popularity of the Democrat Party? It tells you that they're not that popular, are they? And they're always trying to get rid of the Electoral College because they lose more often than they win. And anytime the Democrats lose, they want to change the entire system of government. Willie Brown's girlfriend. I tell you, she's come far. She's come far. But you know, while we're hearing from brilliant women, let's go to one of the most brilliant of all, one of the great liberal minds, Jasmine Crockett. Yeah, Jasmine Crockett. She's going to be out of Congress in a few months.
I'm able to communicate to people just because even if they don't agree with me, they absolutely believe that I'm being real with them.
Oh, okay.
And as I was just having a
conversation... Yeah, real? Like that hair she's got on her head? Is that a wig or extensions? How's that work? How much of that is really Jasmine Crockett's hair? You ladies, can you tell me? I don't know, but that's a wig, right? Is any of that her hair? Is it all, or is she wearing like extensions? Is it all a wig? Extensions? I don't know. What, ladies, let me know.
I'm able to communicate to people just because even if they don't agree with me, they absolutely believe that I'm being real with them. And as I was just having a conversation just this morning, a young black woman was telling me that her dad, a black man who was like, I can't vote for Kamala. He was like, if I go vote, it's going to be for Trump. And she asked him, I know, right? And I said, did he vote? She was like, I don't know. I don't want to ask. But nevertheless, one of the things that she said was, my dad said he could trust Trump. And I was like, really? And so the reality is that that's not the first time I've had that conversation.
What is her point? That Kamala can't be trusted? Does anyone know what point she's trying to make? Oh, my goodness. Yeah. You know, what President Trump has done by gaining so much black support it's phenomenal, right? Who would have ever thought it was possible for so much of the black vote to go Republican? Now, guys, if you'd like to support my content, my channel, everything I do, become a Patreon supporter. There's a link in the description of this and every episode to my Patreon page. And when you become a Patreon supporter, you get access to a lot of exclusive content, including my daily Patreon-only live streams. Those live streams are on the Patreon platform. We're a group of patriots on my Patreon. It's a chat that is actually on the Patreon platform, and it's a troll-free zone. It's a great chat, and it's much like on YouTube with a live chat. And I talk about things that not only will I never talk about here or anywhere else, I talk about things I cannot talk about here or on the radio, anywhere. And if you're a Patreon supporter, you know exactly what I mean. Pretty much every podcast, I'm talking about things that you'll never hear me talk about because I can't. And the link is in the description. And when you become a Patreon supporter, the content is available to paying Patreon supporters. There's an option to join for free. If you join for free, you don't have access to any of the content. But membership starts at just $5 a month, and you get access to the Patreon-only live streams. If you become a top Patreon supporter, you get a live on-air thank you shout-out on every show, and your name up on the screen here on YouTube. So the names you'll hear now are my top Patreon supporters. I want to thank SF Jr., Christine, Chuck, Pamela, Nick, Wesley, Doris, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Alice, Lee Zepp, Shauna, George, Brandon, John, Frank, Dale, Tina, David, Laura, Rob, Wes, Sue, Janice, Teresa, Irene, Rick, Michael, and Robert R. These are my top Patreon supporters. Thank you all. Again, there's a link in the description on whatever platform you're listening to my Patreon page. So let me ask you this. Should President Trump fire Judge Jeanine for this betrayal? Right? I mean, and if you missed the beginning of the show, rewind and I'll go through the details. But Judge Jeanine, she committed a major betrayal against the president. I think it's pretty hardcore. In fact, this is one of the biggest betrayals I think President Trump has experienced in his second term. I really do. And if you missed the beginning of the program, go back and listen to the beginning while I go through it in detail. And let me know in the comments if you believe that Judge Jeanine has betrayed the president and should he fire her, all right? Those of you that are new to the program, welcome. Make sure you subscribe. And everyone, please like the video. You know, when you guys like the video, it helps grow the channel so much because it gets my video recommended to people that have not yet found the channel. So please like the video. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'll see you first thing tomorrow morning. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you then. Take care.